She's not that happy, man. But hey, that's what happens. You tell you stop eating all that junk food. You don't want to listen.
We sit here talking
You
about
know,
something we were telling Shay and what's name to do a podcast.
we about to do it ourselves, man.
Yeah, we like what we like. We give everybody else stuff. Like we should do
Hey,
a podcast. Like after a meet, be like, hey, we had some good throws, whatever, da da da, and like, hey, we saw this. Like, what we doing?
that
Like,
would be dope. That would. Hey, I'm down, man. You know, like you say, I'm down. Right now, I know you got a lot of free time because y'all snow. Y'all still snowed in, or y'all good?
nah, man, it was a day where we didn't do anything, but we would. It's the good thing about being in Kansas is like they used to this stuff, so they be getting those roads cleaned up real quick.
I
So
got you.
I just
I
don't.
got you.
Oh, I'm a tropical person, so
I got you. Well, I
it's,
needed the snow. When y'all play the Dolphins, Saturday or Sunday?
we play on Saturday, play tomorrow or Saturday. Sorry.
Saturday. I need the snow real bad so the Dolphins can get whooped. I'm
Oh, they
sick of
gonna
the
get
Dolphins.
whooped regardless. Oh my gosh, I got some Dolphin friends that are fans of those Fins. I'm like, come on, man. Like I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hate on to it, but he is not that guy. Like
Well, he definitely not gonna be that guy in 20-mile-an-hour winds at zero degrees. I can guarantee you that.
if the wind's at his back, he probably he might throw it, 50 yards.
Man, so waiting on a couple more people to come in, but I definitely want to get the middle school, high school. We definitely gonna touch on that, man. Just a couple topics. Beginning of the year, everybody's starting to get that itch. How many meets you guys done so far?
Aubrey's done one and Cork's done two. Um,
Okay,
Cork has one this weekend. And then Aubrey will have one next weekend, and then we'll be at Speed Capital.
I got you. When do you guys what is it? When is Corey's middle school? When does the middle school start for you guys? I think for us, I think it started this weekend for us or next weekend
Uh,
down here in
we
Miami.
don't, and that's the thing about Kansas and our weather. And I try to explain to people like, oh, y'all put too much emphasis on indoor. I'm like our seasons, even middle school is short, so they'll
Oh,
start.
that's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
They won't start until after spring break, which is the 19th of March. And
yeah.
their first meet is like the first week of April, and then it's just like they have like they have one or two meets each week, and then they do that for a month, so it's 4 weeks, and then they have the city championships, and then that's it, and then we start into outdoor season, which is May, and so we got like a couple of meets in May, and then districts
That's it.
is the very next, it's less than a month away, and so our season is really short.
Yeah. And see, I know like my Florida's kind of tricky because you got so many different like districts. So like for example, Miami, they go start now. They'll finish in February, but states isn't until May. So it's like what you do for 2 months. You know what I'm saying? So if your kid in club track, then you straight, they working. But if your kid not in club track, you just chilling for 2 months and then showing up to state. Like I hope you've been putting in work because if not, it's not gonna be fun when you get to state taking a 2-month vacation. But you
So
know,
that's the thing. It's like, if people don't say, man, y'all like y'all don't know how good y'all got it down in Texas and Florida. I was like, gosh, man, it's bad like that for our sports. So softball, you know,
yeah.
the only thing works for us is soccer and basketball. So yeah,
Well, it's good. I would say for us, it's like a gift and a curse because you can be outside all the time. You outside all the time, so the kids don't really get no break. So you got to be strategic and being like, okay, like right now we finna chill. Like I know with us, we probably not gonna do like I told you, we probably not gonna do indoor this year because of flag. But when we do indoor, we ramp up, boom, boom. March, first week of March, you do indoor, and then we take a month off. She don't do nothing for a month. Just go whatever, be a kid. And then like middle of like late April, early May is when we start back. Because you got to give them a break. Because if not, when JLs come, you ain't finna hit no numbers. Then you gonna be really mad that you don't spend all that money. You ain't hit the podium.
then nothing. Yeah, tricked off all that money, and you like,
Then
yeah,
you want to fight. You want to
yeah.
fight the kids.
I just be like, no, because like I know how serious like any of the kids who train with me, like
Yeah.
my club kids, you know, they already know. It's like, hey, you're gonna get out of this what you put in. That's all we can do. And so it's been good. I've learned a lot just watching everybody, and then also have my own kids, and I like the young ones, man. I think they're the fun. I got a couple of I specialize with a couple of high school kids that for me for some extra work. I'm telling you, right? I know we're supposed to be talking about something else, but right now, I got a couple senior girls that they're coming to me for like just privates, just because they've signed with colleges, but them colleges will come back and say, hey, we're gonna give you some more money.
Okay.
These multis up. Can you throw a javelin? And so like my phone's been blowing up. I'm like, it's cold outside. I can't get with you until April or May. I was like, but I'll have you lined out so you'll at least be competitive. I was like, and that's the thing right now. Obviously you got the those we got elite girls that are out there getting those big those Power 5 schools and stuff like that. But there's plenty of money out here for like just females in general. I was like, you gotta be able to step out of your comfort zone and find what's that works for you. I got girls I've been working with. You kind of inspired me. I got girls that I've been working with since they was young, and now to see them going out here and like I was telling their parents, hey, let them come out here and do this thing, and now they coming back again. It's like, we should have listened to you. Now the coach is asking us, hey, can you throw some high jump in there? We're gonna put you on this multi. I don't know what's going on right now, but that's the
multis is hot, man. Multis is hot.
There's a lot of multi requests, so yeah.
Because listen, like you just said, the money is there, and there's even more money there for that multi. Because multis are something that's not. It's like a unicorn type deal. You know what I'm saying? Not every kid is gonna be a multi. So if you can get you 2 or 3, decent multis in your school, you good to go. So yeah, but like you said earlier, you get in what you put in. A lot of people see these kids and they don't realize the work these kids put in behind the scenes, the private sessions that the parents are investing in, finding quality coaches and quality trainers, outside of practice, or maybe you even got it in your club. Some clubs are fortunate where they have everything in house, so you don't really have to go out. But the kids are still putting in that extra work. They're not just doing the 2-3 regular practices during the week. They on the weekend, they still working, Saturday and Sunday. When they go home, they actually do their stretches, they do their ab work, stuff like that.
Yep.
They're doing their ice baths, like there's a lot that goes into it. And people just see the Saturday and they see the numbers, but they don't realize a lot of these kids put in a lot of extra work, and a lot of parents put in a lot of extra work to make sure their kids are ready to compete when it's time to compete. So to get started, like I said, we're gonna talk about middle school, high school versus club coaches. And right now, you actually had a good story because your son is in middle school and you've already experienced it. So if you want to go ahead and touch on that for a little bit, and then I'll chime in.
Yeah, and so I say this is not, and when I'm going this talk about the coaches, like the coach, I know the coach. I've known him because he coached my nephew in basketball while he was at the school.
Okay.
But it's nothing against him. But at the end of the day, sometimes when they juggling all those kids, that's why I made another post saying, you gotta show some grace, but at the same time, everybody gotta be held accountable. But it's a certain way you have to approach it. So my son, he was doing middle school meets, like I was saying before. They do 1 or 2 meets a week, depending on their schedule and how they do.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my wife, we show up to the meets, and every once in a while we catch Cork limping. I'm like, why is this boy limping? Because like we ain't, we're not doing anything like you said. Like we're like during that time, like April period, we're doing like plyometrics. We're not doing heavy things. We're not even doing any meets or anything. We may do a little, I say lightweights. I'm talking about like kettlebells is what we're doing.
I got you.
Anything like strenuous, because I'm not trying to. He's still young, still got a small frame. Not trying to wear him out, but I'm also trying to build strength. But anyways, so we so he he kept like getting like hurt. He'd be limping. Like, what is going on with this boy, right? And I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm thinking, what is going on? I'm like, dude, I would shut him down. I told the coach, hey man, I'm gonna have to go ahead and take him out of here because he's not
Smart.
I'm
That's
not
smart.
hurt or whatever. But and fast forward, and I'm gonna jump ahead on here so we can get to how I found out that he was being overworked. We get down to regionals, and he's like struggling and he's crying. Like my son, he don't
Wow.
cry. He's a competitor. He wants to go out there and get it. And I was like, listen, man. I was like, if you need to stop, you need to stop. Even when we were sitting down, he was in pain. And so I told my wife, because I was doing the multis, and I had like 6 kids out there. I was like, hey, I can't leave. I need you to take him to the ER because I ain't never seen him like this before.
Yeah.
Get out there he was fine, but he had a lot of issues. They said he needed to take a break on his knees and his elbow and stuff. That was $1,400 just for that visit. I was hot like that. I was like,
yeah, you're not wrong. I'd be hot too.
I was glad it was okay, but then I was like, he said the doctor's like, man, it seemed like he's been getting a lot, has he been working this? And I was like, no, not that I know of. I was like, because he wouldn't, we talk about training all the time, and we have set days where we go out and practice, but a lot of stuff we do technical and strength building.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said Corey down, I said, hey man, like what's going on? Like, why are you like he's telling you, you worn down? I said, we ain't even really started, because like I said, we only have a month of training before we even get over here. And I was like, what's going on? I said, what are you doing? I said, what are y'all doing in middle school? What was y'all doing? He was like, I was throwing shot put. I was like, well, how many? I mean, what size was you throwing?
Yeah, first of all, that's true.
Was you throwing it? He's like, well, some days we throw heavy. I'm like, what's heavy? It's like sometimes they have the 8-pound out there. Sometimes they have a 4K. But his age, they throw 6 pounds. I was like, how are you throwing it? And so he would move from event to event. And so some days he'd be on Monday, he might throw shot put for an hour. Throwing a shot put. Yeah. Throwing a shot put for an hour.
Wow.
Going for distance. They measuring every throw. Going for distance.
That's
throw.
Crazy. An hour, bro?
Yeah. Same thing high jump.
That's not even in college. You don't even throw that much in college.
Same thing. And same thing in high jump. I was like,
I'm surprised he made it to regionals.
Dude, we had he was so upset. He cried when we was in Oregon, and that was an expensive trip. He couldn't even compete in his event because he was so banged up.
Yeah, I remember you told me that.
Like I said, and then high jump said he was like they had him training at that time his PR was like 4.8 at the time. They had him training at 4.6, 4.8 every day in high jump.
Bro, that's your PR.
They had him jumping it every day, all day long.
You killing yourself, hitting the bar every time, killing yourself, tearing. Yeah, that's why his knees was bad.
Yeah,
I'm surprised his heel wasn't bad too.
Yeah, and so he had ankle issues too. He had ankle issues and knee issues, but he's back. We still, like I said, we back on my regimen, but I'm not gonna because the thing that people have to remember when they approach coaches at schools, you gotta remember your kid is the one has to be there every day, right? And so you don't want to make things awkward for your kid.
Great advice.
Because they may, everybody, I'm not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, sometimes I get my feelings sometimes too, and I may do things not intentionally out of spite, but it does happen. And so they may redirect that energy towards your kids. So you have to know a way to approach it. So what I did, I sent them a message. I said, hey, if you need help this year, whatever, I'm kind of busy with my high school kids. But if you need some help with the jumps and with hurdles this year, let me know. I'll be happy to help out any way I can. And so,
okay, that's smart.
And not saying, hey, I didn't tell him I didn't come in here. He knows what I do. He knows my resume, that, because he knew my kids, because he was trying to get he didn't want to bring my daughter over there next year. And so they already knew.
Not jumping for an hour straight.
But I'm gonna put it in Cork's hands. And I'm gonna say, hey, this is what you should be doing. And then that way, if there's a problem with the coach telling him something different, Cork will come to me, and I'll be Mr. Cordial again with the
Yeah. And
coach.
that's what I was gonna say. Like some of the advice you just gave was great, because a lot of people just go out there not realizing that consequence go fall on your child when you leave. Because at the end of the day, that coach, they can't take it out on you, so they go try to. Not everybody's like that, but some coaches are like that. They're vindictive, so they're gonna take it out on your child. But like you said, you had the right approach. That's what I was gonna ask you. Did you talk to the coach? Did you go out there and say, hey, like you said, I can help out, or here's some workouts maybe that you guys can do instead of doing this every single day. Maybe Monday you can do this, Tuesday, whatever, you can do that. Because I got a couple of kids. See, I really don't have any kids now that are in high school. I'm not really training in high school. What's going on? I'm not really training no high schoolers right now. But I have my daughter Savannah and RJ. They'll both be going to middle school next year. And Savannah's school, actually, she might actually be doing high school next year, which is crazy. The school she's going to, if she gets into that school. But I've already had a conversation with the coach, a mild one, but not like, in depth. Because you got to protect them. Those are your babies, man. It's your most valuable asset. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because they'll be at two different middle schools too. Because like Cork, he goes to us. They have a program there for kids special needs, social emotional.
I got you.
Whatever. So they at different schools. So I got to have another relationship with the coach over here at a different school. The good news is I also do softball and baseball, so I got good relationships with the high schools. It's just trying to learn the people at the middle school level and try to let them know.
What's the high school program like that they might end up going to? Are they like, athletically pretty up there, or like?
Man, they just good dudes who, they're trying to put the kids in good situations. Some of them don't have, the training, and that's something I said earlier. I was like, anybody can coach. They can.
Mm-hmm.
You can be good at it. Don't get discouraged. But sometimes, and this is not for all of them, sometimes they just don't have time. It's like when they don't have time, they don't have resources, they don't have money, and so you got to get who you can get in there sometimes to do it. Like I know one the shot put coach up there at one of the high schools, and the javelin coach. I know them. I know my baby's gonna be fine with them because they are passionate. I've coached their kids, when they play football for me, when they're in middle school, and I coached their daughter when they was in middle school too. So it's a thing. You have those,
family
relationships. That's what I'm saying. So like, I know I'm gonna be good there, but I never, this was my first time with interacting with middle school, because I thought my son was going to a different school. And I have a relationship with that coach over there. So
yeah, it's definitely and I think that's the key, building relationships. Like, because when you're a club coach, normally you've had that child probably since 6 years old, 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? So the kid, the family. You've already have that great relationship with the kid. Now they're going to middle school. Some middle schools have coaches that actually know what they're doing, and some middle schools have coaches that were teachers that basically they say, hey, I need you to do track. Are you available? They might get a stipend. They might be doing it for free for volunteers. So you know what I'm saying? So you have to be open-minded. Go out there and have a conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? Talk with them. See, maybe you can help. Like people, you never know. Because I remember when I was in high school, when I started throwing in 10th grade, and my coach was a sprint coach, sprint, hurdles, and jumps. So I was like, I want to throw. He was like, okay, cool. I don't know nothing about throwing. We got shot puts over there in the trailer. We got discus. We got one javelin that's a little beat up. And he said, if you serious, he gave me a VHS tape. And he was like, if you serious, watch this tape and try not to hurt yourself or hurt nobody else. That was basically his instructions to me. And I probably watched that tape at least 150 times between my 10th and 11th grade year. And that's why now I'm so technical. I'm able to teach kids technique, because I wasn't that big. So I had to be super technical. But we pretty much trained ourselves. It was 4 of us. We trained ourselves for 2.5 years. We didn't have no coach. pretty much no supervision. You know, we kind of like figured it out where we wouldn't hurt each other, hit nobody with nothing, but we're by ourselves. You know, like,
Yeah.
and a lot of kids in that situation.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and I did, and that's another thing. Like I've had other, because I got kids in other schools too, not my kids, but kids
I got you.
club.
It's like Courtney.
Hey, I know my wife watching
Courtney,
this.
listen, like,
No, but you crazy. But no, I had a guy. He came and approached me. One of the coaches up there. He said, "Hey, they want me to take over doing high jump. Can we get together and you help me out, because I just don't know enough about that." And that's a great approach to it. No one's expecting, and I think that's part of the thing, the disconnect between the clubs and the high schools. Like the expectations are just so, like, they're not on the same level. It's like, you have to be realistic. The time that you have to put in to your program is completely different the amount of time that
they have
a school coach can put in.
Yep.
And so it's a thing where you got to balance it, where you don't make them feel inadequate. And you want to, because like I said, they're going to be with, like, regardless of what unless you pulling them out, which I am not a fan of pulling kids out of middle school and high school track if it's avoidable. I'm not a fan.
I agree.
And so it's one of those things where you just gotta play the game. Sometimes you gotta swallow some things. You got pick and choose your battles until y'all got that relationship where it's like he's calling you Coach Doss or Coach Ricky or like whatever. Y'all got a good relationship. But if you only showing up to a coach and only talking to him when you got a problem, you're gonna
get that same energy back. And two is like me and you were talking about earlier with your son. He got that friendship. He got friends on the team. So now I'm pulling you. You know what I'm saying? That could hinder your friendship, your relationship with your friends in school. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of parents don't look at it like that, because as parents with kids in sports, I think a lot of times we forget the now. We so busy looking at down the road, looking at scholarships in college, looking at these opportunities. You forget the now. These kids are operating in the now. These kids ain't thinking about no college scholarships.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? That's the last thing on their mind. They win a medal at the meet, and that medal is in the back seat somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not on their mind. They want to go Roblox. They want to go play with their Nintendo Switches, all that kind of stuff, man. So a lot of times we forget that part. And another thing you touched on too was the club coach and the middle school coach. They might not even have the same goals. You know what I'm saying? Parents spending a lot of money for club track. So a parent mind is like, I need my child to improve. I need my child to win. I done paid $400, $500, $600, $700, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And middle school is free. You know what I'm saying? So the middle school coach is like, y'all go out here, don't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Well, I got to fill out paperwork after school, have a good time. We got to school early, go to a couple meets, everybody happy. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's a lot, and that's the thing you got to approach it too, because like I don't know what middle school looks like anywhere else, but I can tell you, I was trying to tell people the other day, it's like we have so many high schools in my area. So you got to think about it. Have all these high schools, and then you got to think about multiply that by 5. But that's how many middle schools that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think there's not a whole lot of staff there. They probably got like a couple hundred kids running track that they can't keep track of all those kids.
Nope.
So and that's why I say part of being a coach and a parent, and on both sides, whether you coach at the school or if you coach a club, it don't matter. You got to make sure that the kids are ready to know what their limits are, because sometimes, was cork throwing shot all day long, but I should have did a better job saying, hey, you should have said, hey, my elbow's hurting. I probably shouldn't do it. But that's the part, that's the part of him being, like I said, special needs. It's like he just there. Someone tells him to do something, he gonna do it.
Yeah, but I was just about to say, I don't know how your kids are. My kids, I can tell my kids do this, do this, do this, and you got to tell them like 10 times, and then a remote stranger come up and tell them to do something, they'll do it just like that. And you're like, bro, why? I wish you listen to me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you showing more respect to the person over here than the person that actually putting food on the table and taking care of you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man, help me out. So most kids, they go do what they coach tell them to do.
Yeah, he is. That's
You
what
know,
it is. Because we
even if you give them, even if you gave him that pep talk in the car, like Corey, do 10 throws, 15 max. Corey will go out there and throw for an hour because the coach told him to throw for an hour.
yeah,
That's just how kids are wired.
and that's how we raise them too. To be
Yeah.
respectful, listen to your teachers. You know, that's how we raise them. So it's been burned into his brain for 12 years. So yeah, of course that's what he's gonna do. So like I said, I have to take some ownership of that, you know, as well. And I got to find different ways to get through them. And then you touched on something else about, like, kind of like I said, I'm anti pulling kids out of their schools and their middle school and stuff like that, because he's geeked about running and throwing with his friends at his school, his classmates.
Yeah.
You don't get to do that. You know, his
Hi, family.
hey. His like you know, my son's very quiet and reserved at school. But his I guess I don't know what they call it, reputation, clout, whatever.
Yeah, I got you his rep, man.
He
It's
blew
sad
up.
at that school.
He blew up because it was like, dang, who's this little kid over here? And then you can hear people talking. You know, like all the older kids will come out and watch him high jump and clapping. The parents are coming out to come see him. He putting on a show. You know, that's why we call him Showstopper.
So he's a man.
Yeah, he's coming out here. And so that fit, you know, that helped him. And so that you don't want to take that away from them because, like you said, they're still young. Those things excite them. I'll be honest with you. That excited me when I ran track when I was in high school. You know, we didn't start till we was in high school, but, you know, we didn't.
I got you.
But, you know, hanging with the fellas, let's be honest, hanging with the shorties.
Of course, man. That's why a lot of people join track in high school.
So it's a social thing, and so that's a piece. But when you run club track, you know we're pulling kids that he may never see again until the following year. He's friends with all his homies from across the U.S., and I love that about track. The kids can reach out to their friends on their iPads, but the people he sees on a day-to-day basis,
every day,
and he's cheering for them. He's giving them tips. He gets joy out of that. That's the piece that you don't want to mess up and take that away from, because that you can't get back those years. I would all day long. I'm not a fan of school, but I would go back and do track again. I would do that for eternity. I'd run high school track for eternity if I could. So that was
and see, man, that's the part, like when you a coach and a parent at the same time, you gotta like take that coach hat off, put the parent hat on, and say what's best for my child holistically, not just athletically, but the whole child. You know what I'm saying? Because we get so caught up in sports, but these kids are you know what I'm saying? They're much bigger than sports. Sports is only gonna be if you lucky or you blessed. You say what, 35, 36 for a track career? Like if they make it that far.
Yeah.
You still got 40, 50 years to live. So you gotta make sure the whole child is complete. You don't want your kid to be 37, retired, and like, dang, what do I do with my life now? Because all I've done is run or jump or throw. You know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that they got social skills. They know how to actually interact with people. You know what I'm saying? All those things are going to tie into making a whole person. So as parents and definitely coaches, you got to make sure that's something that you look into. But we're down here, man, like the area that we're in, we're blessed in the regard to not so much middle school, but high school. We got a couple of really dominant high schools down here. Like they send your kids, like your kids go to those schools, they go into state and they go in D1. It's called, I don't know if you heard of Miami Northwestern. They win state. I think they won state 20 years in a row.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like when I was coaching, and that's something too that a lot of people don't understand. Every coach, even the club coach, I don't care how great they are now, every coach started somewhere. You know what I'm saying? When I started coaching kids, I started coaching 7 to 8 year olds right when I got out of college. And I didn't even know they made 4-pound shot puts. So my kids was throwing 8 and 12 because that's all we had. So imagine you an 8-year-old kid, my 8-year-old boy. Yeah, Coach Carmen, trust me. Savannah already know Coach Carmen. Coach Carmen already knows Savannah. They already recruited. But Coach Carmen, she's a sweetheart. But my boy was throwing the 12, and my girls was throwing that the 4K, the 8.8, whatever. So we get to the first track meet, and I'm like, where they going with this little ball at? And they were like, well, they throw the 4-pound. So of course, you know what they did to the 4-pound, man. They was launching that thing. I think it was like a tennis ball to them. But my girls ended up going to Northwestern, and they all went D1.
Nice.
You know, but I didn't even have to do nothing once they got to high school. Like, you know, I prepared them 8th grade. It's pretty much like, you know, you hand them off and they take care of the rest for you. You know what I'm saying? So down here, we kind of blessed in that regard, you know, to some extent.
Yeah. And I like that, like sticking with those kids. That's why I like the young kids the most. That's my favorite age to coach. Like the 12 and under kids, those are my favorite kids to coach. Don't get me wrong. I have my older athletes. They'll come back and they like to talk to me, but they're coaching. The way I coach them is a little bit different because you give them the tools and you've been building on it the whole time. Every once in a while, they like come back and be like, hey, they'll show me a video. Hey, what do you think about this here? And I'll do that. And they gone. My goal with the younger kids, and once again, that's why I don't pull kids out, I think, is for them to love it. And like I told you, like if I could go back and do that for eternity, that's what I would do for eternity. That's the kind of joy that I want to make sure these kids are having at the end of the day, because I think JoJo said something about this, because I think his son may have stopped track at one point and came back. But my kid was a phenomenal baseball player. Phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But he just woke up one day, he said he didn't want to play. And I was like, cool. I was sad about it because he was really good at it. I was sad, but
yeah,
that's his decision that he wants to do, you know, and he came back to it. You never know what kids are gonna do, but once they're done with something, if you don't let them find what they love, you're gonna ruin it for them forever.
Wow. I hope y'all listen. That's a gem for parents right there.
So now he's back and he's loving it. And he's working even harder at it now. I know it's his track, but I'm using that.
Probably faster too. Now he had that track under his belt.
Yeah, he's better mentally prepared for it. You know, it's been good for him to be able to choose what he likes to do. That's the thing. I wish my daughter didn't like so much stuff, because she's the most expensive 10-year-old I ever met in my life.
Man, I already told you, Aubrey stood in line 3 times for talent. It was like, Aubrey, you can go. Nah, I'm going back for a little bit more, man. She's special. I just need you to send her down. Listen, whoever on here, if you got a child, 2030, 2031, 2032, send them to Tallahassee. We're building a super team at Florida State.
Man, we're gonna right now. She's looking at she like they're 10 years old. So
obviously Oklahoma
dreams. I love the dreams, like dream baby.
Yeah.
It's like UCLA. Number one school she wants to go to is OU, and then UCLA.
Yeah, I can't be mad at her for OU, man. OU like like Bama, man.
I'm not mad about that. I'm like UCLA. I like the warm weather, but I was like, man, one of her friends wants to go to Florida. I was like, man, maybe you can talk to my daughter, get some of this warm weather. I was like, we gotta go south, man.
Yeah, we can't do the cold, man. Savannah can't do the cold. Further, she might go somewhere in Georgia. That's about it, man. I don't think she could do the snow. So, but we go switch gears, man. I know y'all not coming down with sucks, but AAU has a new destination, AAU clubs. So shout out to Marshawn Atkins.
Yes, sir.
Coach O and the team, man. For people that don't know, we've been fighting for the last 2 years with the help of this group, sending emails, phone calls, because AAU club was at Dr. Phillips. So they pretty much only, but now we at UNF, so they'll be back to contesting all of the field events. So we got to make sure we come down and show out. I need y'all, the people that are coming, we got to break every field event record. Let's let them know field events is out here. So now you got what? It's January. It's the first weekend of July, the second week of July. You got 6 months to prepare. 6 months to train.
Second week.
6 months to train, so we can go out here and just dominate. I want all the records, bro. All of them. Y'all can even break our records. The records that we got, break our records too. I want all of the records broke so we can let them know that field events are here and we ain't going nowhere. Dominate.
I'm excited for everybody that's being able to get down there. I wish we could have made it.
But again, you got the busiest 10-year in America.
Yeah, we even just to get to qualify to go to JLs, we're gonna try out the Las Vegas National Championships.
Okay.
Because that's the only, like, we can't make our districts and we can't make our regionals this year. So I was like trying to figure out the schedule, and I was like, oh my god. And then we had club was right time, same time she has a state softball or whatever. So
somebody hold on one sec. If you have a question, you can put the question in the chat. I don't have my other phone, so I can't see who's actually commenting. It just says Facebook user. But if you have a question, just put it in the chat and we'll definitely try our best to answer the question. My bad, you can go ahead.
No, I was just saying that so we go out there, and man, I'm telling you, everybody these past couple of years, the attention that the meet directors they've been doing a fantastic job from every organization, where that be AAU, USATF, Speed Capital, like all these meets growing up. I've seen it evolve and making it a true event for these kids, and I think we're capturing a lot of kids. Like we had the numbers the other day, but like the Midwest right now is one of the fastest growing for track and field right now.
Well, y'all always had a lot of diamonds in the rough in the Midwest. Like nobody ever knew about them until they get to like college, and then you see them, at like Iowa State or Iowa, or like one of them small Wichita State, and they just dominate. And you're like, where these kids come from, man?
These Western Kansas kids that no one never knows about, they are the real deal. You don't see them kids used to get to high school, you be at state, like, we ain't seen or heard from you ever.
Bruh, that was you. I never forget it. Because my daughter, when we were 8, she was throwing javelin. So, you look at the numbers. Every parent say they don't. Everybody look at the numbers. Yeah. You on athletic.live or you on Mile Split every Saturday looking at the results. So we hit 65 feet. I think it was like May. So I'm like, okay, we at 65. I think we go win nationals this year pretty easy. And then Kyrie Foster out in Texas, she started climbing up. I was like, okay, we gotta put in some work. And then I saw y'all, I think it was in June, you went 44, Aubrey, hot feet. I was like, okay, 44. I said, okay, we ain't worried about 44. And then the next week, she went 83. I was like, nah, this gotta be a typo. I said, Savannah, we going outside right now. I don't care if it's 8:30 at night. Let's go.
We gotta go right now.
Right now, bro.
Oh my God.
But nah, y'all got some weapons out there, man. I don't know what y'all eating out there, man.
Dude, like I said, and that was one of my things. Like I'm currently trying to build up our multis, and like,
yeah,
I brought a little squad with me, and like it's so much hard work trying to get kids over to field events and to like multis and stuff, because every parent sees what they used to do, or everybody wants to be the fastest kid. I'm like, listen, that may not be your strength. Like, don't get me wrong, my daughter's fast, but right now she's not track fast. Maybe someday she will be.
Yeah.
And so she found something else that she loved to do. And same thing with my son. He's football fast. He's basketball fast. He's baseball fast. He ain't track fast.
I got you.
Whole another different speed. It's a whole different level. But you can develop that. That's not to say you give up on that, but some kids, I've lost kids from parents not listening. It's like, hey, you should, like, kids at the end of the day, regardless of what people want to say, at the end of the day, they want to win.
Of course.
No one wants to just get beat up on all the time and be disappointed. That's not fun for any kid. Or they want to see themselves getting better. If they was losing, but they were still getting better, they could take it easy. But when they're just stuck, and like, it don't matter how much, because one, you got genetics. It don't matter how much training and stuff you do. There's going to be a limit to that, and you just stuck. And so you got to pivot and find something that they're strong in. And like, we talk about, I'm a hurdler, I'm a high jumper. That's why I did. And so when my kids are like, nope, we throwing stuff, I'm like, oh God, now I gotta learn all this other stuff. Now I gotta do all this other, learn all these other, techniques and stuff. So
Yeah.
but no.
But now I got you. Hold on, we got a question. What's your take on throwers also do sporting with powerlifting? I don't have a problem with it. You just have to make sure when they're lifting, you know what I'm saying, coming into the throws, you don't want to lift super, super heavy, and when you got a competition coming up. You know what I'm saying? I know down here, I think powerlifting and track is 2 different seasons. So that works out. Just time it. You know what I'm saying? Powerlifting and throwing and track is in the same season. From my take, I don't like to lift heavy the week of throwing. Like, I would say at least 2 weeks. You know, like if you want to do some repetition stuff, light weights, heavier reps, that's my take on it. But I would not lift super heavy like leading up to a competition.
I agree 100%. Yeah. I don't lose that. If it's like something where it's like, hey, I'm just staying in shape. It's just like this is easy work. I'm not putting a whole lot into it. That's great.
Yeah.
That's gonna help you in the long run. But if you come out here someone, hey, I gotta hit, whatever it is, like your goal is in powerlifting, and you trying to go out here this weekend and do a meet, that's a mistake.
Yeah, nah. And a lot of times too. Oh, go ahead. What happened?
No, so you get like, because a lot of times when you do that, your performance isn't going to be as great as it normally is, and it's going to hurt you mentally. And that's the thing, that's when you're throwing and jumping, there's a lot of mental part in there for kids. And if they don't perform to what they normally do or close to it, if they fall, say you throw 20 feet short in javelin, lifting, that's gonna take a psychological hit on us. Just be careful on the mental aspect. That's my piece.
And I would say this too: if you're doing javelin, I wouldn't power lift, because your muscles got to be stretchy. You know what I'm saying? So if you are gonna power lift, make sure you're still stretching a lot, because you want your muscles to be elastic when it comes to throwing. You want to be strong, but you want to be elastic. You want to be able to, your muscles be able to fire off. Technique. If you powerlifting, make sure you still focus on technique a lot. Technique is key. Ricky will tell you. Ricky got some small kids, but when you see them throw, you think they giants. Technique. I don't care how strong you are, you need the technique.
Takes you a long ways. It will take you a long ways until you're developed. And that's the thing that's why I don't get too upset or too hyped out when kids aren't doing as well as they did when they're like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old.
Yeah, nah.
You're like 15, 16, you're still growing, your body's still developing. That's when you should be figuring out technique. Technique is going to take you a long ways where you may not have that athletic ability. Your body hasn't caught up yet. And that's how these little kids like y'all there. Who's that? I think it's Xavier Durham. He's out of Florida, I think. And he's a 12-year-old thrower. And that boy, he's only a little bit bigger than my son. And that boy can throw too. But he has good
technique. Yeah.
And then you sit there and you look at those 2 little boys up there throwing. I think they finished number 2 and 3 this year in their age group.
Okay.
Throwing. And they're keeping up with those big boys, and that's because they focus a lot on technique. And so, like you were saying, like you follow everybody, and that's the cool thing I love about track is you go out there and you see who your kids are competing with. I do that, but they end up being friends, and you end up being with their parents too, because it's like you pick up stuff from them, and it's all for the better. Because here's the thing: is that there's no reason to be clowning on somebody else because they ain't finished the top 8. You know how many schools there are out here? You know how many opportunities? There is a school for everybody. If you don't finish in the top 8, that's fine. I got a lot of girls who are sitting in college real comfortable right now.
That didn't finish top 8.
That never finished top 8 ever.
Facts.
Ever.
Facts.
And you know what?
It's more than 8 schools.
Yeah. And they eat for free. They get an education.
That's true. I think we get too caught up on like the rankings and all that stuff, man. Like, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but like the kids don't care about that stuff, man. Like, and as parents, sometimes you just got to take a step back. I had a coach tell me When Savannah was 8, we was at meets every weekend. You know, she was breaking records, whatever. And the coach told me, he was like, "Do you want to have an 8-year-old national champion that nobody knows about in like 3 to 4 years, or do you want her to have a long career?" And I thought about it. I was like, "Of course, I want to have a long career." He was like, "Well, you gotta." He told me these words. He says, "You can't treat a Ferrari like a Corolla." That's why I always say that to people. And you think about it, it's true. You know what I'm saying? You don't drive a Ferrari every day. Not knocking a Corolla, but it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? So, and he said that to me. That always stuck with me. So, like, I always like, I like people ask me like our workouts, whatever. I tell them, we might do 10 shot put throws every other day, if that, because you don't really need it. You just got to make sure when you're doing it, it's quality. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to make sure it's quality. And I always stress that with people, because I have people tell me, "Oh, my kid did," like you say with your son. They be like, "We did 40, 50 javelin throws a day." I was like, "Bro, you gonna kill a kid." And I'm talking about little kids.
Yeah.
You know, like 7, 8-year-olds. I'm like, "Bro, you go destroy a kid's arm." Like, they don't need that much. They don't even need to be throwing a javelin every day, pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
I got a simple workout that I do for, especially for javelin. I got a simple workout. People, that's the thing. That's the misconception with throws. People think Savannah and Aubrey out here throwing a million throws all the time. And you know how late Aubrey starts. Aubrey typically don't start summer till dang near
To July.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, we're doing more exercises for her because her schedule's so busy. And it's like, and then it's like those couple weeks, like, okay, we got to make sure your technique is right. And then
Yeah.
yourself. The technique is everything. Like I said, don't rush. It's the same thing how I coach high jump. Don't rush to jump the highest heights you can do, because when you get tired, your form is going to break down. So you got to have some resemblance of that form. And so I coach javelin the same way. I'm like, get the technique down, because when all else fails, if you can throw solid against that wind where everybody else is floundering, you're going to be all right.
You're going to be all right.
You're all right. You know what I'm saying?
It's technique.
It ain't no accident. Like, and that's the thing. And like you said, kids got to start somewhere too. Like, everybody looks up, and you track the numbers. You've seen it. You know, that first year, my kids were terrible at the javelin. I think.
I'm telling you, man, you was at 44. I was like, yeah, they not on our radar.
Like, I was throwing forever. She was throwing like 20s. Cork was throwing like 30s or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible. I was like, okay, but I wasn't stressed out. But I was like, hey, we gonna do this. Somebody else is telling me, oh, y'all gotta throw more. I was like, no, we don't. I was like, no, we don't. This is what we need to do right here. And then we started having those big games. It was like, God, they're jumping up. They're jumping up. They went from 20 to that 44 to, next thing you know, that 88 or 83. And then same for him. He threw over, like, he popped 100 out, and he's been throwing like it's the same thing. But don't rush your training. Stick to the basics. I promise you, when they're babies like that, the strength and everything that will come.
That will come.
Technique, man.
I tell people all the time, man, like, people ask me like for advice and stuff. I give you advice, but always tell people, develop your own style, because when you develop your own style, you can replicate it with different athletes. Like, no matter the athlete that come to you, when you got your own style, and you know it's like a formula that coaches have. No matter who come to you, no, they might not be a national champion. Don't get me wrong, but you can make that child improve.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You can fix that child. You can get them better. You know what I'm saying? And they'll be winning and doing a lot better things. But like somebody said in the group earlier, you got to be open-minded. Like this group here, Field Events Matters. The other group, just developing that relationship with other coaches and bouncing ideas off of coaches and talking to coaches. You can learn a lot from other people. You can learn a lot from YouTube. YouTube teaches you a lot. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of resources out there now. So you just got to be open-minded to using them, and don't think that my way is the only way. Nah, that's not the case. There's a lot of stuff you can learn just by looking and listening. You know what I'm saying?
I change things every year. Because I learned something new. Like I said in the group of the day, on the back street, and that's the thing people don't understand. There's people in here that want to help everybody. O'Shea and Steve reached out to me. He was like, hey, I saw this XYZ. You need to focus on this for your hurdlers. I was like, I didn't think about that. I'm like, wow. Everything else, and he did this. And so what that did, that led me to the whole running with a weight.
I got you.
Realization. I was like, let me do this. And then that went out. And next thing I know, that I posted, and I think like people like 20 different people share that out. It had like 5,000, 8,000 views. I don't know, some crazy amount. They just went out there because no one was thinking about doing that. I was like, and it's like something we should all just know, but you just get so focused on one thing that you can't see past.
Yeah, because when you looking at somebody too all day long, you might miss something. Like I send videos of Vanna off to, you can't trust everybody's opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, but but I send Vanna videos off to a couple people when, like, especially right now for discus, because one day she'll throw amazing, and the next day it's like everything falls apart. So like I'll see boom my videotape and send somebody, and it's like it's something you might not see. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, okay, have her do this, have them do that, have them do that. So it's good to have those resources where you can reach out. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things I love about this group. I saw that you posted earlier. You told somebody you posted in a group, and you'll have coaches that can steer you in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hold you too much longer, man. But I did want to ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
What are your top meets for 2024? The meets. I know the schedule's out now. What do you think will be some of the top meets? And what's your top venues? I know you're gonna say the stadium in New York. I already know that's gonna be.
See, unfortunately, because once again, we're not gonna be able to make it in New York. I'm highly upset about that. But that's been one of my favorite venues. And don't get me wrong. But so far that we've done in the past that we've done, like people say what they want to say, but that Oregon situation,
that's gonna be hard to top, man.
Seeing it on TV and being there in person, it's totally different. It's not.
That's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard to top.
Nothing to do. But as far as meets, I'm looking forward to. I like to see people evolve and change and make changes to things. Like I'm looking forward once again, always. Speed Capital,
Speed Capital, they always go do their thing. Luke, and I don't know if you saw that MVP package.
Oh, it looks nice.
It's nice. Listen, the MVP, I got, bro. The MVP packages have been stepping up. Y'all see that? This was from Tia's meet.
I'm mad I missed that one. She don't change that date on me like that.
Then man. No, it literally rained the morning, and then it didn't rain no more. I think it stopped at like 1 on Saturday. Then it rained Sunday morning. I'm driving to the track, me like, bro, come on. And then the rain stopped at 9. The sun came out at 10. Perfect day, man. Yeah. But the MVP packages, man, they have been going crazy. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw the uniforms for the Speed Capital one, bro. I told Ben, I said, hey, we got to get this.
They had colors for different regions and stuff.
Man.
I said, man, I'm trying to get to many of these because that's the thing. Cork likes to go where places are different and they doing different things he ain't never seen before. And so he's looking forward to Kentucky. That's USATF. They get their indoor nationals.
The indoor, okay.
And like, if you can get a trophy, they give trophies out for first place and you get the medal. So he gets hyped when that amps him up even more. So we're looking forward to that. Obviously we're going out to indoor nationals out in Virginia Beach. That's gonna be fun.
Okay.
We're really looking forward to going out in Vegas. I don't know what the venue looks like, but the halls, they always do a fantastic job, man. I don't know if y'all know Karen and Coach Darnell.
Okay, now I haven't met them before, but I heard great things about them.
They do an absolute fantastic job. They're the ones who are responsible for our AAU. They're the 14 under meet up in Michigan.
Okay.
They're the directors on the Virginia Beach situation. They run the Vegas, and I think they run the West Coast Nationals as well in primaries. I think that's them as well. So okay. They do a lot. They do a really good job. They're very passionate about the kids, making sure everybody's included, and making sure that people get their money's worth when they got there. So yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of meets out here that we just want to. There's just not enough time. And like you said,
there's not enough time, man. And everything's and it's so spread out because I know like you took. I thought you mentioned to me Clash of Texas.
Oh, that's what we want. We can't go because that's the argument I got into with the school because they said if he goes, he gets suspended for a year because that's during their meet time. So it's in their bylaws. We can't go. And so I've been telling Brandon Cooper, if he's in here, I've been telling him, hey man, we're gonna get down there. And I was like,
Yeah.
get it cleared. And they was like, if he goes, he's suspended. I'm like, so
Wow.
But
I'll say this, man. Like the meets, because we started back in, because I coached from like 2008 to like 2013, and then we had, my son was playing baseball. He wasn't in the track. He was baseball, basketball. So I stopped doing track because whatever with him. And then Savannah, by 2019 we got back in it with her, and the meets were 2019 whatever. Then we had COVID, but the last couple of years, man, they've been getting a lot better. So I'm excited for 2024. We might be going up to Speed Capital indoor. I'm not sure, but if not, then we're gonna do the Speed Capital outdoor. That's gonna be our first meet in the end of February. But Speed Capital always do a great job. Coach Miami, we probably gonna hit a couple of his meets. I don't know if that's another guy, Coach Miami. If you ever get a chance, he throws some really good meets too.
Yeah, I'm looking at my calendar. I'm trying to get one of his in too. I'm trying to spread the love because like everybody does so much for these kids. I want to make sure, like, yeah, we know meet directors, yeah, they making some money, but the shows they putting on for these kids, like if you where I'm at, we don't have meets like that.
Yeah,
they ain't putting on productions.
Well, I look at it like this, man. If you do, like you said, if you doing what you're supposed to do for the kids and for the parents, then you deserve to make as much as you can make.
Yeah.
Now, if you out here and if you got rinky-dink medals, you ain't got no timing, everything unorganized, no, you don't deserve to make a dime. I'm honest.
Like, I got no problem. People like, oh, it costs $40 goes me. I'm like, did you see what they doing over there though?
Man, listen, we went to, like I said, Coach Miami, the Speed Capital. We in there, man, and we get out, 2-3 o'clock. Medals, MVP awards, doggone timing, live, everything. It's like, but what you want? That, bro. Come on, man.
And got you out on time.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, come on. Like, what more you want?
I'll say one more meet, because I know it's getting late for you. But I'll tell you this: that first Speed Capital national meet they had in Georgia, that was the craziest thing I ever.
Oh yeah, you told me about it. I'm still mad. They changed the schedule so we couldn't make it.
Dude, that was you go down when they had them medals, them big old medals blinging.
That's the spinning medals. That right? That's one of the spinning medals.
They was spinning, and you can hear all it didn't matter. The announcer could be loud. All you can hear is the medals just clanking all through the stadium, clank, 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 clank. And it was a nice sound. I was like, this is crazy. This was crazy. But anyways, that was something that is burned into my memory. Is that situation?
Yeah. And that's how it was. That's how it was Sunday at the field event meet. Like if you listen to some of the interviews I was doing in the background, all you hear is clink, 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 clink. You know what I'm saying? It's a dope feeling, man. Because like you said, obviously every kid can't win.
No. You
know what I'm saying? But the kids are inspired. They motivated. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of atmosphere we got to start creating. Like, we got to stop creating an atmosphere like they do in football and basketball, like the AAU culture. Like we can't bring that over the track, bro. Let's encourage these kids. Let's just try to help these kids. Not everybody go run track in college, but let's just encourage these kids to be better people. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that run in college, they run in college. You know what I'm saying? Or they throw in college to do what they got to do. But we got to just, as coaches, like stop putting so much pressure on these kids. That's one thing I want to touch on real quick because I was laughing with one of the parents because some of the kids was crying in line, and I was like, and all the parents were like, because they weren't throwing their best. All the parents over there, like, and coaches like, hey, relax, take it easy, just And I was like, other people probably looking at us like these are the worst coaches in the world. They got these kids in line crying. You know what I'm saying? But people don't realize how much pressure these kids put on themselves, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you even got to put pressure on them. They're going to put on themselves. So just be there to encourage them. Be there to tell them, all right, it's cool. You got 2 or 3 more throws. You got a couple more jumps. You know what I'm saying? But we got to start bringing that kind of culture back to track and field because these are kids at the end of the day.
They are, man. And it's just, like I said, I just love how much the meets have evolved. When I'm a little bit older than you. But back when I ran track, we didn't get no medals. We ain't got no
ribbons.
We ain't got no ribbons. You just
didn't get ribbons.
You got this. They done again. You got this time. Good job. You going to conference. Okay. You go to conference, they're like, hey man, you got top 3. You going to state, baby. Okay, you going to meet the champs, baby. I'm like, and
wow.
that's
We used to at least get ribbons, man.
No, I take that back. That I don't want to be a lie. We did at conference, we did get ribbons. So that made
I got you.
Got ribbons.
I got you. Okay, I got you. Well, man, I appreciate it. We got to do this once a week, man. Like you said, just come on, chop it up. We can have people throw questions in the comments, in the chats, whatever. Talk about the meets.
Yeah, celebrate these kids even more. Like, highlight, pull some results. Like, hey, did y'all see such this week or whatever? Or maybe have some of my field event people submit their videos from their kids, and we can talk about, like, look at this. This is they first play, how they place. Where like, look, this is such and such out of Michigan. They just threw a whatever. That's a PR. And it ain't got to be winners. That's a P. Let's celebrate them PRing or
PR, yeah.
Or feeling good about themselves. So these kids, because like I tell you this. If you sit any kid down and let them watch a video of themselves throwing something or talking, they love that. Like Facebook memories, my kids love to go back and look at themselves doing stuff, and they have the biggest smiles on their faces and seeing that stuff. So I think it'd be good for this platform to like showcase babies and talk about them and build them up.
There you go, 2024. We always doing something new to advance the culture, man. So y'all look out for it. Like you just said, coaches, if you on here, you got some videos, send them in. You can post them on the page, or you can send them to our inbox, and we'll talk about the kids. You know what I'm saying? Give them big ups. Offer critiques if you need critiques. Offer help, whatever. We just here to, like you said, we just here to make the kids better, man. And I'm just here to get everybody to Florida State 2031.
Oh man, you wild. And you wrong for posting that picture of me.
Hey, bro, I was like, that's the perfect picture, man. I gotta get one. We gotta make a little box. I gotta have Sam fix something up for us, man.
All right. Well,
whoever said no, when I go back and get my phone, I'm blocking you from the group. Florida State 2031. We don't need no negativity in this new year. Now, just joking.
Yeah. All right. Well, God bless y'all. Y'all be safe. Love these kids. Look forward to seeing y'all on the road. I'm coming to y'all.
Yes, sir. Peace. Be good, man.